Want to thank the Fountain Blue for taking care of us this week. They did a great job at Super Bowl a couple of years ago when they first opened up. And I said, let's go back to Fountain Blue. They got Formula One in town, and thank you again for the hospitality this week. Yesterday, Michael Douglas, we saw him in the hotel, and I said, you want to stop by and talk some Formula One? And he came by after the show, and we talked about when he was on the show the last time, and he was in a car club, and he was in high school. So I asked him if there was ever a point early in his career where he thought more about being a race car driver than an actor.
There was a brief, well, in my young career, yes. I mean, it breaks up into, in high school, I was a member of a hot rod club, the Downshifters. And so I was into,
Did you have jackets?
We had jackets, the Downshifters, Westport. And we had a sea dragster. We had a little sea dragster that our club raced. I didn't drive, but we used to go up to Rhode Island, up to Warwick, and we raced that. And that was when I was in public school and high school. And then I went to a boarding school. And I went to this boarding school, an all-boys boarding school, and they knew nothing about drag racing. They were all into sports, Formula One, Sterling Moss at the time, and all that. So that was when I got my first intro into the more sophisticated side of car racing. And then, as I said on your show like a few years ago, one of my first movies that I did, I had Steve McQueen as a producer on the movie. And you know, he knew I liked cars, and in this movie, I drove a 911 Porsche Targa, the movie, that tangerine orange.
Tangerine, yes.
Tangerine orange color they had in the movie. I got paid, this is 1969, I think I got paid $3,000 for the whole movie. And the last day of shooting, Steve showed up, thanked me so much for the good job, and he had these keys he held up. He said, here you go, buddy. And he gave me the Porsche, you know, which was more money than by far that I made in the whole movie. And also at that time, Steve was preparing for the movie Le Mans. So he was going out on weekends out to the desert, out in Palm Desert, the Willow Springs racetrack. And he was racing, Richie Ginther had a 908 Porsche, a really hot Porsche. And he was racing, practicing that, getting ready for Le Mans. And Steve McQueen was a great driver, both motorcycles and cars. And the 908 had this, had a little plastic second seat, I guess, to fulfill his class. You know, he had a major races. He was a little plastic seat. And I asked if I could go do a couple of laps with him. And he asked me if he got permission. And Dan, all I can tell you is those couple of laps out there at Willow Springs, and there's this large sweeping turn that he could take at about 150 miles an hour, and you kind of level with the desert. And I was stoked. And so after those experiences with Steve, there was also the Jim Russell Driving School, which was out at Willow Springs, and you could race Formula Fs, little Lotus Fords, open wheels. So I got in and did that, and that was the beginning of my racing career, which promptly, about 3 races in to the season, we were at Riverside Racetrack, and under a yellow flag, which means the yellow flag is slow down, I took a turn too fast, spun the car around, and went into a wall under a yellow flag, which is a real no-no. And that was sort of when I realized, you know what? I'm being like a weekend hero here, but these guys that are driving are pretty serious, and I'm going to get myself in trouble. So that was the extent and the end of my my racing career.
Where is that Porsche that Steve McQueen gave you?
That's a very good question. I've thought the same thing. That probably worth something. I don't know. I lost it somewhere along the line. I'm not quite sure where.
Did you ever talk to Paul Newman about trying to balance and be, you know, because he was so involved in racing and a Westport guy?
Well, he was. I didn't. I saw him a few times. He was an interesting guy, so talented, nice but removed. He was, I've never quite understood what it was exactly, I know he lost his son, which I thought might have been the thing, but there was something slightly removed. But I was such an admirer of him, not only for his racing, but for his charity work, the Hole in the Wall gang.
Oh, yeah.
It was extraordinary with all those products. I can't believe it. The figures that he raised is really phenomenal.
Where's the best place you've ever seen a race?
That's a good question. Monaco is tough to beat. I did one race in Monaco where I had the pit pass, and there's a big long tunnel that goes through, and I was able during the race to walk through the tunnel, and it was just an extraordinary experience. So I'd have to say Monaco is probably the most colorful. Although it's a limited race, it's very tough to pass. There's a lot of talk about, even though it's long history, that with the cars, the way they're going, they may move on.
But didn't you do a ride along with the King of Monaco?
No, I did a ride along with the King of Spain.
Oh.
I was at the Barcelona F1, and before the race, they asked me if do you want to go with the King of Spain around the track in the what do they call it? The starter's car.
Pace car?
The pace car. So I said, yeah, sure. So I got in the car with His Highness, and I didn't realize that there was a camera on the dashboard, right, that had both of us in full bloom. And so King Juan Carlos took off, and he took off like a banshee. And we went down, and I said, I hope he knows what he's doing. Because the thing about race cars, with all their speed, it's the braking you can't believe. So they go into a turn and say, there's no way, they're not going to stop in time, there's just no way. And the G-force on braking on your neck is unbelievable. This is why they have all those exercises. So anyway, we go into the first turn, and I'm going, holy smoke. And I didn't realize I'm on screen. I'm looking, and I'm looking at the king. I said, you know what you're doing? What you're doing the whole way around the track. So that was in Barcelona. But that was just a warm-up.
We're talking to Michael Douglas, actor, producer. Well, I don't need to say. What should people say when they introduce you? What do you want people to say?
A nice guy. What a nice guy.
Yeah?
No, I don't know. I'm very happy. I'm an actor and a producer, yeah. And I'm also messenger of peace for the United Nations, which I'd like to spend a lot of time on.
I think there was always this debate about these Formula One or NASCAR guys, athletes. And I would always, I would talk to Dale Earnhardt Jr., and he'd say, hey, sit in that car for 4 hours, hand-eye coordination, you're losing 7 to 10 pounds, everything that goes. And if you make a mistake, it can be. But how do you view the athletes behind the wheel? Well,
being pretty familiar with F1 in the fact that I have some friends who have been owners. This is how I got introduced and why I'm here in Las Vegas at this beautiful Fontainebleau hotel for the race. I was friends with the guy that owned the McLaren team, one of the owners of the McLaren team, Mansour Oj, unfortunately passed away a couple of years ago. And I'm now a good friend of a mutual friend of Mansour and mine, Lawrence Stroll, who owns the Aston Martin team. So I've been able to see close up, and Lawrence's son, Lance, drives for Aston Martin. So as a family friend, I see the amount of training that goes in, and it's staggering. So yes, the discipline. The thing that gets me with NASCAR is how close they are. Yeah. How close they are for lap after lap. In Formula One, you'll have those moments, where you have a good, but they sit there just literally bumpers touching at 200 miles an hour. So they're, both races I think need tremendous physical shape to be in.
Did you do a race car movie?
No, never have. Although the streets of San Francisco, which was soon after my race car experience, and I was sort of the police driver of the car with Carl Malden, my partner. And I always tell this story, the very first day of shooting, this, which ended up being 104 hours and 4 years. We were at the top of Nob Hill in San Francisco.
Yeah.
And I'm in my trailer, and all of a sudden there's a knock on the door. I said, come on, let's go. We got to go fast. The lights go. We're losing the light. We just need you. It's not a scene. We just need you to drive around the top of Nob Hill, past the Fairmont Hotel, and then just go down the hill. And Carl, you take the red light. You smash it up on the light, and we go. It's okay. So, being my first day and not having had a lot of experience, but very cocky about my driving, I get in, and they go, and action. I take it, I go around Nob Hill, I go past the Fairmont, and then there's a major hill. Well, all I can tell you is I went off that hill, and I was airborne enough time that I turned to Carl. Carl looked at me, and about 2 seconds later, and I badly crashed. Thank goodness the wheels were straight, right? If the car comes to a stop, I go, oh my God. Carl gets out. That's not driving. I'm going to be fired my first day in the picture. So he gets out. That's not driving. That's just movie driving. That's not driving. Oh God. Anyways, I'm going back to my trailer and change my underwear.
How many episodes did you do?
I did 104 hours.
Wow.
Yeah.
Did they use that clip in the show?
No. No, that was not.
Do you collect cars?
I used to, but no, I don't. I'm kept that down to a dull roar. I love cars. I love reading car magazines and all that, but that's one vice I'm trying to.
Can you fix a car?
Not anymore. I used to be able to fix flatheads, you know, the older kind of engines and everything, the new sophisticated ones. I can't.
But you can't sneak a car into the garage with your wife and have her say, "Where did this come from, hon?"
No, that's the point. I got kids now who are driving age, and Catherine is that. So you really, I mean, how many cars can you fit? Then you start getting into garage space, right?
I know.
And that's not cheap. I mean, how many Porsches do you have?
I have a few.
What does that mean, Dad? Come on, be honest. You can tell me.
I have 5.
Well, that's not too bad.
I know, but my wife always says, "Do you need another one?" And I say no.
Right.
But I say I still want it. And if you have a garage, like, you got to fill it up.
You have like a Spider? You have like a...
I have a 356, a 1959 356A.
Wow.
I got a 89 G-body. I got a couple of GT3s.
Oh, wow.
And I have a 01 Speed Yellow Turbo.
And what do you drive around?
I have a pickup truck.
Where do you live? You live in...
Connecticut.
In Connecticut? Oh.
Yeah, not too far from
Westport?
Milford.
Milford, I know Milford.
Yeah. So if you're ever there and you want to take out one of my cars,
well, thank you.
I'd be more than happy to let you.
That.
You could take the GT3 out if you wanted. And
ooh, that's a nice. But garage space is cheaper in Milford than it is a lot of other.
Well, I bought the building where ours. So it's not cheaper, but I do have a lot of space. Yeah, but I'm not doing any. Well, actually, I'm looking at a 73.
Ooh.
So I already have my eyes on.
Have you ever seen Jay Leno's collection?
Yes, yeah. Not in person.
No.
But you know what? When you lose track of how many cars you have, then you have too many cars.
Yeah.
And Jay, I'm sure, doesn't know how many cars he has.
Oh, I bet he does. Oh, I think Jay...
And Letterman sold all of his.
Did he? I didn't know.
Yeah, he had a lot. He had quite a collection.
Yeah.
I met his mechanic, and he works on Miles Davis's former Ferrari.
Wow.
A friend of mine has Miles Davis's Ferrari. Yeah.
Wow. Well, that's, you got to be a little...
But if I gave you, I said, get one car for the garage. You tell Catherine, hon, I got this car.
Wow. And it would have to be, Oh, let me think. Well, I know I'm being a little bit promotional, but the new Aston Martin is awfully nice. The new DB4 kind of combination is particularly nice and producing.
I feel like you're getting one after this appearance. So, well done. Well done. It's great to see you. Thanks for taking time, and hope you have a great weekend here.
You too. Have a lovely weekend, Dan. Always great to see you.
Thank you, Michael.
Thank you, guys. Thank you.